begin at 6 a.m., which we have a couple already this morning. Just heard that soundbite of Tommy and I discussing yesterday about Eric Musselman. Of course, he's going to be the hot. I thought we were going to talk a lot more Bobby Petrino today, who spoke with the media. We got plenty of sound bites to get into throughout the week. Arkansas baseball thrashed Little Rock last night in another run rule performance.
In a 3-inning game, essentially.
Yes, but it's 13-0 by the end of the third inning. It was pretty crazy.
3-0.
So those will be topics, but they will be ancillary compared to the biggest one, Eric Musselman, and the status of his job and his future here at Arkansas. And I want to know, as Taylor Twellman did back with USA Soccer, what are we doing? What are we doing in regards to his future, a possible new head coach, and every other thing you can think of as we get going here the next 3 hours?
All right, going to be a lot of fun. That McLarty Daniel hotline is already open. We're already fielding text. We'd rather have your calls, 877-377-6963. 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville. A good deal is never too far away. Find them online at McLartyDaniel.com. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought Clay's going to be with us in the third hour. His new column is up at hitthatline.com. A great read about the offensive line. We'll get to that, but clearly the stake on the table is Eric Musselman, and apparently he's going to be at Southern Cal today to do an interview. It's the nature of the beast in this business, but if I go interview for a job or you do, it's a lot more incognito than what he's going through today. And question is there mutual interest on both sides? From what you read according to the media, and I preface that because until you hear it from their AD, and she hasn't indicated anything yet, how interested are they in Eric Musselman? And from the media accounts, there'd be a high level of interest. Is he interested in this job? Because, we can debate back and forth about which job's better. I think we're always going to land in our state on the side that Arkansas is the better job. But I think even when you read some of those that are weighing in from outside our worlds, they even believe Arkansas is a better job, even the Southern Cal people, when it comes to basketball compared to the job they have available.
Yeah, football, it's not close. It's USC.
Right.
Basketball, I think
it's not close.
Yeah, I think
it's
you
Arkansas.
Give the edge to Fayetteville.
It's not even an edge. To me, it's not even a discussion. So we won't spend much time on that because there's not much meat to gnaw on there. But so is he leaving? I mean, every job that's come open, we've gnawed around on this, but there's not really much that's went on with Louisville or SMU.
Mm-hmm.
The SMU job created this opening. I've always felt a California job would be the one that would lure him away from here, or a West Coast job. Some have thrown out some of the Arizona schools. I always worried if UCLA came open, that's a no-brainer. I mean, I couldn't blame him for leaving. Maybe his alma mater. They couldn't pay him what they pay here. I don't know if Southern Cal will be willing to pay him top 15 coaching money to move out there.
Infield was making, I think, $4 million. I heard Russ Gonzaga say yesterday he was making 4, and Muss is making 4.25 here in Fayetteville.
Even, but it's a pay cut because you're going to California where it's going to cost you 30% more to live. State taxes are extraordinarily high. So yeah, I mean, it's a pay cut if you go out there. Even for even money, it's a pay cut.
Mm-hmm. No.
Now, we can't wrap our minds around it. And you out there listening can. We're all in the same boat together because, we're all wage earners. We're all, would love to aspire to that income level. And there's not, his lifestyle is not going to change because of the cost of living. He'll still live as good as he will. There might just be a little less left over at the end of the year. So I don't know how big I consider. A
little more frugal.
I doubt. No, I'm just saying instead of having $2 million to put in the bank, you may have 1.8 or 1.6. I don't know. I don't live in that world. Wish I did, but I don't know that that's going to weigh the decision that much for him. And it always, I don't think these things come down to just pure money. I ponder as I read more, as now I put Hunter Yurichek's comments in that podcast more into focus for me. I don't believe for 1 second these two things aren't connected. I think Hunter Yurichek has known what was going to happen. I don't know that he said the things he said necessarily with intent, but now to me it's a little more in focus about what he meant and what that means from that clip we were playing yesterday. And I know the guys in the afternoon had some sharp opinions about Hunter Yurachek. I don't think he's a dumb guy. I think he knows what's going on. I think maybe he's preparing for his next move, perhaps. But what is clear to me out of that is Musselman's not getting an extension, and he's certainly not getting a raise based on the leverage of an interview.
And my, I think, take on Yurachek's comments have changed since this report yesterday. And we should address this report. So it's from Scott Schrader of On3 Sports, who's the publisher of USC site that Eric Musselman is set to interview today. And I had this report yesterday, so of course it said tomorrow. That has since been confirmed by several outlets here in Arkansas. So unless every single one of these people got bad intel, this is happening
now
today.
I tried to click on was it Schrader?
Scott Schrader.
And it was behind a paywall in a message board on their site. So I couldn't read what was actually there unless you found it somewhere else or a screenshot. But when I went to X and tracked down the tweet and clicked, you couldn't actually read it. So you were taking the word of those that had retweeted and what it says at its face. But unless you read it or signed up for their message board subscription, I did not actually get to read whatever he wrote on that USC fan board. And that's where this comes from. So I think that also has to be at least laid out on the table here about, where the information was sourced from. He's a credible reporter for their program, but doing my job, you doing your job, I didn't at least get to lay actual eyes on his because it was locked behind a paywall and I wasn't willing to give him my credit card to read it.
You know how much it was?
It's $1 for a month, but then I got to go cancel it.
Oh, yeah.
It's $1 for the first month, and then however much from then on. I wasn't willing to jump through that hoop and then have to deal with it.
Just a reminder, hitthatline.com is always free, as is our radio shows here on ESPN Arkansas, the Hit That Line Now app, and on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, too.
Look at this, the tag. We got them lined up, man.
Yeah. So we will get to your reactions coming up via the McLarty Daniel hotline. I'd like to hear from some of you. Not that the texts are bad, but we've got the texters that text every day. I actually want to hear your voice, JT and B, and some of the others that text. And this would be a day you actually voice your opinion, not just text your opinion. Don't give me the excuse, well, I'm at work. Well, you're obviously not at work enough to prohibit you from texting. You can call in if you want to today. All
right, Brent is in Searcy. We'll get to your call, Brent, coming up. There's 2 other lines open right now on the McLarty Daniel hotline. If you want to get in, now's a great time, 877-377-6963, and we'll get to some of the text coming up as well. Hey, summertime fishing. I know it doesn't feel like summertime out there at all right now, 50-degree or cooler temperatures around our state, but nothing says summertime fun like a Thill bobber. Get one right now. You and the family can enjoy America's favorite floats by Thill that are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and they're great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and red worms. They're available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
We'll discuss the baseball victory last night and Bobby Petrino on spring practice all throughout this morning, too.
Make sure you're subscribed to the Hit That Line Podcast Network. If you do, the podcast will automatically download to your phone. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and bounce house for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th. 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Morning Rush.
Great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Hi, this is Matt Jones with the Halftime Show, and I will be broadcasting live from the Party Place in Fort Smith on April 8th, or better known as Eclipse Day, from 11 to 2. Halftime will be at their new location at 7810 Rogers Avenue behind Ashley Furniture. It's going to be a Party Place celebration with fun things to do and, of course, giveaways. It's the Halftime Show at the Party Place on Monday, April 8th.
Hey, Wes. Billy, K is for horses. Are my ears that long?
Oh, you got me again. I'm going to order a large Boss Hog pizza for fishing tomorrow.
That's a lot of food. You taking a friend?
No, sir. I'm going to use it as bait.
Pizza as bait for fishing?
Yes'm. The catfish love 'em. Some Jim's Razorback pizza.
They do?
Yes'm. They chase the bacon faster than green grass through a goose.
Bacon? Never would have thunk it.
Yup. And they come right to the river's edge when I call them, too. Woo! Fish suey!
Oh, blessed Billy. All right, son. Have fun fishing.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
is a living legend in this state. And anytime I get to talk to Chuck, it's a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And as long as you, Ty, you know you're a little bit behind the years.
1-0. Souza drives this pitch to deep center field. Bubba Carpenter, get yourself the largest star you've ever seen. It's a grand slam for Nolan Souza.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
How about Nolan Souza, the freshman, hitting a grand slam last night? We'll discuss that and more coming up, but baseball is not the main topic this morning. It's Eric Musselman. We've got some calls and texts to get to on the McLarty Daniel Hotline that we'll do in just one sec.
Bubba almost basically called that last night when I was listening to the broadcast. Hey, happy hour twice daily at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith, 3 to 6, and then again from 9 to close, half-price drinks and $5 appetizers. They're potato skins, spinach dip, mozzarella sticks. I love those steakhouse meatballs, pot stickers, and a lot more. That's all on, I hate to say special, but just happy hour deals, $5 select appetizers, and half-price drinks. You can't beat the deals at TGI Fridays. Love the menu there, and hey, that patio's perfect when the weather's just right. They've also got I call them flaps, but they're really outdoor curtains, heaters, and they make outdoors pretty nice to sit out there even when the weather's a little cooler right now. TGI Fridays, happy hour twice daily, 3 to 6 and 9 to close. And don't forget 50-cent wings on Monday. TGI Fridays, 540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Tammy's in Russellville this morning. She has some thoughts. Tammy, welcome into the program.
Good morning. I just wanted to bring up a couple of different things. The first one, you had mentioned this morning that we thrashed Little Rock, but we played ASU that's in Jonesboro. And
why did I say Little Rock? I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. The second point is I don't understand why Razorback fans want to keep coaches that obviously don't want to be with the program. Let them go. Let them go out to UCLA or the West Coast, and we'll find somebody else. We've got to start standing behind coaches that are going to stand behind us. And every time there seems to be a little bit of heat in the program, the coaches want to leave, and all we want to do is for them to stay, and I don't understand it.
Who are you referring to outside of Muss, Tammy? You there? All right. So it is kind of funny and coincidental. April 2nd is kind of an interesting day for Arkansas basketball. It's the day Eddie Sutton left. Mm-hmm. It's the day that Dana Altman, again, went back or took the job and then the next day went back, which is kind of interesting. And then you have this report come out yesterday. It has not been kind.
There's reasons why early April these things happen, and that's because just like in Muss's contract, buyouts changed. I don't know about the details with Eddie Sutton, but buyouts changed. Muss's did when the calendar flipped from March to April. The buyout on his side went from $2 million to $1 million. So it makes, I don't care who you are, $1 million, $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure if USC and him work out a deal, they'll pay it, but he'll get taxed on it. It'll be income to him. So, yeah, I mean, these things happen early parts of the month of April because generally in today's world, there's differences in your contracts because the season kind of closes fiscally, if you will, at the end of March.
So Tammy's question about why does Arkansas try and retain coaches that may not necessarily want to be here, I think of this as a player situation. If Eric Musselman does not want to be the basketball coach of the University of Arkansas anymore, then Hunter Yurchek and this athletics department and the board of trustees doesn't need to try and retain him. If he doesn't want to be here. Now, we don't know if that's the case. We do know from multiple reports that he is interviewing for the USC job today. I'm of the belief that you don't go out of your way to try and keep someone that doesn't seem to be fully invested. Let me rephrase. On the outset, doesn't necessarily reportedly seem fully invested that he's enough to go interview somewhere else.
It feels like the damage is done. The writing's on the wall to me. Like I know
But he came back later today.
It would be weird if he came back at this point.
I agree with Christian.
I don't disagree that it would be weird, but I do believe that the fan base, while you'll lose some, Frank Broyles used to say every time your name's connected to the job, you lose 10%. I think there's some truth in that way of thinking. But if Musselman comes back and he fires out a tweet that he loves Arkansas and wants to be here, he's not going anywhere, there's going to be a big chunk of the fan base that welcomes him back with open arms.
What is
Man,
Now, the 10%, I tend to think that number is going to be a lot higher in this situation. And I could be completely wrong about this. I tend to think that you're going to lose a good chunk, not a small, minute chunk. I think you're going to lose a good chunk of this fan base if it was to come back. And you'd have to figure out who USC would hire at this point, who passed on who. Did Muss pass on USC? Did USC pass on Muss? But again, I go back to the analogy.
And you'll never know.
Yeah.
You're just speculating like we've done with a lot of this stuff. It's all speculation other than the fact that he is going to interview.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is speculation.
But that is that not enough for you to be a little, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but a little put off? Maybe that's the better word.
I'm uneasy about it. Yeah, but I'm not. If he's your coach, I mean, listen, dude, I hear what you're saying, but the next, when the next tweet after that's about the big recruit he just landed out of the portal, or when you roll around to the season, he wins some couple marquee games or whatever, people are going to put this. I don't say they're going to forget, but it's going to go to the back of the list. So now, none of this has happened either side. He hadn't taken the job. He hadn't said he's going to stay. So, but this idea that if he stayed, the fan base would still turn their back, I don't believe that for a minute. He would still be our head coach. He would be our guy, and people would. There would be a good portion of the fan base that'd make excuses why he had to do that, and it's not a big deal. And they'd have their own way of coping with it and dealing with it.
He would have to go back to the old Muss, like you're saying, basically having to tweet all the time and, do what the opposite of what he's doing now, which is pretty much nothing, being silent.
But here's the thing. He seems, and again, we're speculating, but from the outside looking in, my opinion is, my read on it, he seems a little frustrated with the situation and the job. And now that you put all of this in context with Hunter Yurachek's clip from that podcast that we played yesterday and was played throughout the day, you put it all together, and, there seems to be some tension in the workplace, tension in the AD head coach's relationship.
Well, I think the biggest question you have to ask, and it's a question on top of a question, it's one you refer to. It's not who they potentially get under if Muss. It's not is there a fractured relationship with Hunter Yurachek and Eric Musselman. It's if he is reportedly trying to leave, why does he want to leave? That's the biggest question that has to be asked on this, is why that has led to that. It could be something as simple as he wants to be closer to his mom. We'll have to wait and see. Brent's in Searcy this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. What's up, Brent?
What's up, Ty and Tommy?
Hey, man. What is going on, man? What is going to happen here? He going to take this job, Brent?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'd have to change my entire lifestyle, and I'm perfectly contented how I'm living in Searcy, Arkansas. I keep it moving, keep it grooving every day. And if I took this job, I couldn't talk to you guys about 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So I just would rather keep my thoughts on the statewide radio, on the radio.
You're not cut out for California, man. You know what a pack of heaters cost out
there?
No. Oh my Lord.
No, I'm not packed. Hey, the wheelchair don't run. The wheelchair doesn't run good in sand. Okay. But on to this Eric Musselman situation and the Hunter Yurachek situation. What in the world is our athletic director doing getting on a podcast out of wherever it is, California, talking to people in Los Angeles? Sounded like a complete buffoon. I mean, it shows me that our whole athletic department fractured right now.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think the relationship, just my opinion, and I think something between Hunter and Musselman has damaged that relationship. And Muss is a very demanding individual. You could compare him to the way Petrino ran his program when he was the head coach. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of heat, Brent, and I think that wears on people. The demands that are one after another about how business is going to be done daily, the pressure, the yelling, just the tension. And I think what we're seeing, Brent, is maybe just the effects of all of that as the pot boils over.
Yeah, and the key in all this is that wasn't discussed when Arkansas was winning the previous 3 years. But when they just had a losing season, when you just had things go against you,
Because-
that is more prevalent now. And it's actually like,
How do you stop
bigger
a pot from
talking
boiling
point.
over?
You win.
You turn the heat down. Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, so Brent, that's my read. You've been around this your whole life. What do you think?
Well, I think that between you and me, I'm going to be a fan of the Razorbacks no matter who the coach is. It sounds like to me this situation is fractured beyond repair, and I would think that Eric Musselman would be the head coach at Southern California by Thursday, to be perfectly honest.
All right, there's the first one to say it. 26 minutes into the show.
I think it is imperative that Hunter Yurchek replace Eric Musselman with a great coach. If you're losing, replace him with somebody that will excite the fan base, because our fans deserve better than to be treated like this every week. Am I going to lose? DePaul. Am I going? Sooner or later, you're playing a game of chicken, and you got to tell him you got to go. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Brent.
Thanks, Brent. But, his name getting connected to each and every job is not his fault. That's media driving a lot of that.
That is true. But
that is not fair to say it, well, your name. But now, to your point and what you've been saying, if you don't want your name out there, all you got to do is put a tweet out or a statement. But you take yourself completely out of every opportunity when you do that, unless you reach out, right? Because if you make it known that, hey, I'm not leaving, you take your name out of the hat. I mean, you owe it to yourself to listen to opportunities and to decide what's best. Clearly, he thinks this is an opportunity he wants to listen to. Louisville and SMU weren't those, but I can't.
They didn't have
just because some media member puts a list together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not holding Eric Musselman or any other coach, for that fact, responsible for that. I know this: you got a head basketball coach whose name's connected with virtually every opening. How many jobs has Sam Pittman been connected to?
Mm-hmm.
None. Now, I could also say, well, Dave Van Horn hadn't been connected to any either, and he's just the most successful coach on that campus. Yeah. So you can look at that a variety of ways, but I still don't want coaches that nobody else wants to hire.
Yeah. Well, Dave left home to come here. You knew he wasn't going to take a job.
Well, this is home for Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's not leaving. Yeah.
I mean, this is home
where he's from. And on the subject of Sam, I think with Sam Pittman, and we're going to get to Richard Davenport coming up next segment, so stay tuned for that because he'll have some thoughts. You can say what you want about Sam. You can criticize Sam Pittman for a number of things he's done the past year or so, and that's perfectly okay to do. But I will say for Sam Pittman, in his defense, I know he wants to be here. I know that this is where he wants to end up. And
I know the fans want to win.
Yes.
And I know that Hunter Yurchek needs to find a way to win. So it's great to be here, but if you're not going to get the results.
You're exactly right. But
then
I think Arkansas fans are starting to sense, regardless if some reports are true or not, in this case it seems to be that there seems to be an inclination from Eric Musselman that he's not fully invested here in Fayetteville. That's, I think, the rub that that's the rub that a lot of Arkansas fans have felt with what's going on. That's what I get. That's what I gather from you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Either way, call or text us at 877-377-6963.
I can just tell you, and you've seen it, and it just boil it down to your workplace. When the result, and you guys see this, when I'm not getting when you're not doing what you need to be doing, or a salesperson's not selling what they need to get done, they're not meeting their quota. What happens every time in every workplace?
Beatings.
That would be a good. Hey, let me write that down. What beatings with what?
Arguments.
Accountability happens. Accountability happens. If you're responsible for mowing the yard at your house when you're a kid and you don't get it done, what does your dad do? He holds you accountable. If you don't get your math homework done, what does that teacher do?
You hit Dylan with the switch.
Hold you accountable in a variety of ways. Yeah. When you don't win enough basketball games to get to the NCAA tournament, what happens? Your AD has to hold you accountable for how things are being done.
100%.
You think there might be something to the idea that Hunter Yurchek is, for the first time, now, when things are good, the yard's mowed, the math homework's done, and you're making the NCAA tournament, you don't have to hold people as tightly accountable. It could be a lot different working relationship. When things are good, accountability doesn't have to be front and center. When things aren't to the level of expectation, accountability comes into play every time. And for the first time in the working relationship between Eric Musselman and Hunter Yurachek, and this is difficult for both sides, I'm sure, accountabilities come into play. Think about it for a minute and why this relationship might be a little more strained now versus then. All right, McLarty Daniel hotline open. We got a ton of texts. We need to get to a few of those. Richard Davenport coming up on the hotline as well. 877-377-6963. Jimmy, we'll get to you and other calls coming up here on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Cheering for the other SEC schools is like cheering for the devil because he's in the Bible. I'm not going to do it.
This is the Morning Rush.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the Morning Rush.
Child's planes. Touchdown.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Woods and Irons. The world's first AI smart face designed using real player data. Cobra Dark Speed Woods and Irons. The fastest driver Cobra has ever built. Start the new year off with a lesson and feel more confident on the course. Contact Matt Brooks at 646-4430. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
First of all, it's an honor to be on here with the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck.
Line drive caught at third. Double play at second base. That's it. This one belongs to the Razorbacks. Sprague Lott caught White's line drive and doubles off Braswell at second base. He hits into his third double play of the series, and the Razorbacks sweep LSU.
Do you want to watch the Morning Rush, Halftime, Even, Ruskin, and Zach? Find our live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Twitch. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio.
So we got plenty of texts that we haven't gotten to just yet. We'll do so momentarily. Also a call from Jimmy, who's in Conway this morning. I want to continue to hear your reaction on Eric Musselman interviewing reportedly for a job at USC.
Brought to you by Wheels RV. They're going to have their NWA RV show and outdoor party April 13th and 14th. It's going to be on Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, right behind Nukes. Right there near the traffic circle, I guess would be one way to describe it. Brought to you by Wheels RV and Moix RV. They're going to have all their big brands, Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, Winnebago, and more. All there, on-site financing. Pardon me, food trucks. They're going to have vendors out there. They're going to have on-site financing, as I mentioned, so you can make the deal and leave right then and head camping with your brand-new RV. So don't miss it. The NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party. Go to the Red-White game, and then go to the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th in Rogers, brought to you by Wheels RV.
Jimmy's up first. Jimmy, what you got for us this morning?
Top of the morning to you, fellas. Hey, I think the very fact that we know about this interview screams that he wants to leave. If he wanted to just interview, they could have flew out there and done it, and we wouldn't have even known it unless he took the job. But the fact that it's out tells me that he wants out. And, I would thank him for getting us out of the ditch. Much appreciative of that. But I don't see USC as a lateral move even. I mean, they've got more success in women's basketball than they do men's.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be straight about it. And what is Eric Musselman's buyout at Arkansas? I'm curious to that. I can't remember that. And the last thing is maybe Eric Musselman is a Larry Brown type coach. Very successful, great coach, but everywhere he goes, he has success, and then he wears on people, and it just goes downhill.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stay because they're just ready for him to go. I don't know.
I think that's very accurate. But here, because I think we agree, he's a good coach, right, Jimmy? Great, maybe even a great coach. So why does he have to interview?
Do you think it's
Say
just
again?
Why would he have to interview?
I think it's a formality.
I agree, especially at USC.
Exactly, my point. So that's one thing about this whole deal. If we put him on the shelf that we have him on, and I think those around college basketball, I mean, it's pretty evident the quality of coach he is. Now, coach and manager of program, those two things go together. You could probably separate those conversations. But if he's all we think he is, why the hell is he having to go for an interview? And why is it so public?
School?
Yeah.
Not USC.
Do you think?
Yeah, maybe at Kentucky you interview, but at USC? To me, that's part of the equation that makes little to no sense.
Do you think it's a formality? Do you think that Scott Schrader, who initially reported it, got inaccurate intel? Not that Muss is going to be in California and Los Angeles, but it's more than just an interview. It's just
the oddest thing today would be him. Of course, he did this at Nevada. He put out pictures and stuff when he was actually interviewing with Arkansas of him practicing with his team at Nevada, which was, a misdirection, if you will. But I don't know. I just come back to that. He's at a level in his career. He's got the resume. That's just, you send over the offer sheet, right? If you're USC, you either take it or you don't take it if you're Muss. He doesn't need to go on a tour of the facilities. He doesn't need to see, hey, how many basketballs you got for practice? Do we have a shot clock in here? He doesn't need to see any of that stuff. How big's my coach's office? What's my budget for wardrobe? None of that, Why is he having an interview? Why don't they just offer him the job?
I don't know.
So what do you think the answer is? You've posed the question 3 or 4 times this morning.
Well, I don't know that I have the answer. I can speculate and tell you my opinion. I don't know that I've got an answer, but my guess is, much like we talked about this 20 minutes ago, much like when Petrino, we all remember, and I hate to bring up Petrino because he's back as the offensive coordinator. He's in a different role, and there's a difference in being an assistant and being a head coach and how you go about your business. But we all know during the fact and after the fact how demanding he was on everyone around him, players, assistants, the administration. Is that a fair and accurate way to describe how Petrino ran his show? I think Musselman runs that show in a similar fashion. And I think much like we saw the Petrino era, it got to the point where there was just fatigue within the walls of the Broyles Athletic Complex of having to deal with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You think we're to that point with Muss, particularly following a season that didn't go? Now, with Petrino, there wasn't really a season at the end that, we were just going to the next level the next year till the motorcycle ran off the road. You can't really compare any of that part, but you can compare, I believe, my opinion only, how the programs have been run. The way those 4 years went with Petrino and the day-to-day operations, and that's all I'm talking about. Day-to-day operations, how people felt, the pressure they were under, the demands of the man in charge. I think there's a lot of similarities in the way this program is run.
Let's talk to Melvin and Sheridan before we get to Richard. Melvin, your thoughts on this whole Eric Musselman saga?
Load the bus and send it west. We deserve better. We need to get on that program y'all was talking about a couple weeks ago. A little bit cheaper, good coach. Put our money in NIL, get our players, and make a great coach. Musselman quit before the last ball game. He can make all them excuses all he wants to. Why didn't he do the press conference and all that? There was already the sheets were already being separated. You know what I mean? Did I lose y'all?
No, we're listening.
Well, like I said, I think he's done. He quit a lot after that last SEC tournament game. He quit then, guys. His feelings is hurt, but he didn't catch near the heat Sam did. I don't know why he's mad. We didn't pick them players and we didn't coach them. You know what I mean?
He picked every one of them, and he misevaluated, I guess would be the clearest way to communicate that. I mean, he went for guys that he thought could play offense, and he'd teach them defense, is my opinion, and they never got to the level of playing defense he needed. So I think that wandering eye has been looking around the landscape for months, not days, not weeks.
Agreed. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. That's all I had to say.
Some people quit and don't leave their job. That happens. Think about your workplace out there listening. You know that guy over there in the corner, over there in accounting, hell, he's checked it in. He don't care.
Office Space.
Well, whatever that means.
You hadn't seen Office Space?
I guess so.
Okay.
Office, the show?
The movie.
Oh, no, I have not.
Need to
you check that out.
The
Well,
analogy is comparable.
I have an old phrase that someone told me once: if you're gonna quit, have the courtesy to leave. So,
gonna quit, have the courtesy. Well,
I don't know if that's where we're at. I think this comes back to everything's hunky-dory when you're winning. When you're making the tournament, you go into the Sweet 16. It's like I said a minute ago, and I want to come back to this again later on in the show. It's about accountability. Man, when things are good, the work's getting done, and you're winning at a high level, think about it in your own workplace. When you're having record quarters or big years, high ratings, whatever it is in your industry. You've sold more life insurance policies than you ever have before, or whatever it is in your widget factory. Not a lot of accountability because things are working well. But when, man, we were down 8% over same quarter last year, or, man, we didn't meet our quota, or whatever goals aren't being met, then the bosses have to manage a little differently, right? And that's when you find out, who wants to stick through the leaner times. It's cyclical to a great degree in many walks of life. I don't think basketball's a lot different. You're going to have ups and then you're going to have downs. It's how you respond in the downs. And sometimes people respond by looking for a greener pasture.
And Melvin, as we bring in Richard Davenport now into the conversation via the McLarty Daniel hotline, brought up the NIL aspect of this, which I wonder what Arkansas basketball is and where it was after the season, late in the season, and what would have to be this next year, and potentially what it could get if it could get a shot in the arm, depending on if they hire someone, if Muss leaves. This is all contingent if this report is accurate, if Muss takes the USC job, if they move on to a new head coach, which has not happened to what we know of, just reporting
But apparently there's an interview. There's at least a first date, maybe.
Yep. So, Richard, as we welcome you in, what have you made the last 24 hours or so, where it seems like Arkansas fans are going ballistic, and rightfully so, on the potential movement of their head coach?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of moved a little quickly, even though you kind of saw it a little bit, kind of start going in that direction last week with the video. Then obviously on Monday when the podcast came out, you knew that you knew there was some shaky ground for sure. I think Arkansas fans are so passionate about everything related to the Razorback program, and when you have a coach that's gone to 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16, and Arkansas, other than the 90s, it's been a dry spell. And you have a coach that has done what Coach Muss has done. Obviously it kind of hurts to think that he may leave, but that's where we are, and I can't imagine him coming back right now, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I guess stranger things have happened.
So on that note, Richard, let's say this blows over and Eric Musselman comes back. How receptive do you think this fan base would be with him entertaining other job offers and then still winding up back as the Arkansas head coach?
I think the majority of the fan base would probably welcome him back. It just depends how you sell it. I mean, let's face it, you're going to have to spin it some way and come up with a reason why you went and interviewed with another school. I think it's just how well it's handled. But at the same time, if you say, I realize that what we have here is special, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to continue to be the coach at Arkansas. Stuff like that kind of sells. So I think the majority of the fan base would say, welcome back. There would be some that he'd probably would have lost, during the process, but I think the majority would probably, at least in my opinion, would welcome him back.
Richard Davenport with us on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Here's my question, Richard, is all the time spent, the day now out to California at least to interview, whatever's going on there, how far back is that setting you in the transfer portal and getting the needed work done there? And if you have to make a change right now, how far behind are you going to be in reconstructing this roster?
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now everything's on hold. There's no doubt about it. Until you have a definite, answer of where you're going to be with the basketball program, whether Muss is going to come back or what have you. I mean, everything's on hold. The good thing is, I guess, the dead period starts the 4th and goes through the 11th because of the Final Four. So there's no visits that were going to happen during that time period. So if something moves quickly and they announce Muss to USC today or tomorrow, then obviously there's no doubt that no AD is going to be left flat-footed and not have a plan. And if you have somebody you've had kind of in your back pocket, and you move as quickly as you can and let them start to get to work. And obviously the whole roster, I mean, right now you get you got 7 guys technically, with the addition of Cohen committed from UMass. I mean, you got 7 on the roster right now. I would tend to think you'd have a complete turnover on the roster. There may be 1 or 2 that may stick around. Who knows? You just don't know. But it is going to be a massive turnover that I guess that we've kind of seen over the last few years. To be honest with you, a few times. But yeah, it's going to be challenging. But the portal goes till May 1st, but it's it gives you plenty of time to evaluate and the portal and also high school kids and start having official visits in June.
Real quick, in your opinion, how long does all of this take to come to a head? Do we know one way or the other
I think we'll know something pretty quickly.
24 hours?
Yeah, okay. I would be surprised if it went beyond that. I really would. I mean, because Muss, if he goes to USC, he's going to want to get to work as soon as possible too.
Richard, appreciate it, man. I know it's been a whirlwind this last 24 hours. Appreciate you giving some insight on this whole Arkansas basketball situation.
All right, buddy. We'll see you, man.
All right, we got a lot to dive into in hour number 2. What's your beef Wednesday? We don't have a single person we're interviewing. Just you, just calls and texts via the McLarty Daniel hotline. I know all of you have an opinion on this. Every single one of you. Maybe you haven't called into this show before or any show from that matter. This might be the day to do it. This might be the day to finally call in to a sports talk radio show because, again, you have an opinion on this. We'll get to some more coming up in hour number 2. What's your beef Wednesday?
Spring camping season is...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing.
Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated.
Yesterday about the future of Eric Musselman and this basketball program. Some of you have heard, I would say the majority of you have heard. If you haven't, according to a report from On3 of Scott Schrader, that Muss is set to interview today, which we've received a lot of texts, a lot of calls on the McLarty Daniel hotline in hour number 1 on this subject, and we will continue on. Maybe throw some Ake State highlights from last night as Arkansas pounded them 13-0. I incorrectly said Little Rock earlier. I apologize. And then also Bobby Petrino spoke about the quarterbacks in the offense. Guys, he's talking about Taylor Green at the 1. He's your starting quarterback. It's just a matter of time before they announce it. We'll see him as the starting QB unless he gets injured on August 31st. But that's beside the main point, which is Eric Musselman and what's going to happen with this basketball program. And if it's time to move on, we'll get to that coming up.
2 open lines right now on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. What do you think? Derek Musselman leaving? Is he going to USC? How do you feel about him interviewing with Southern Cal? Let's talk about it this morning. We're brought to you by APAC Arcola. They have immediate openings in Boone, Marion, Baxter, Benton, Washington counties. Go to jobs.crh.com, whether it's a job in the quarry, whether you're a diesel mechanic and they've got room in their shop for a high-quality tech like you. Maybe you have your CDL license with no automatic restriction. They've got a job for you driving one of their trucks that they go around delivering high-quality cement and concrete every day. Heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers. If you got experience with asphalt or concrete finishing, they've got jobs for you. Go to jobs.crh.com. Great pay, sign-on bonus, benefits that include insurance, retirement, and profit sharing as well. Jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
Steven is in Springdale. He's got some thoughts in this Muss situation on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Hey, Steven, what's going on?
Hey, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Go right ahead.
What do you think, Steven?
All right. I'm a Muss fan. I like Muss, like what he's done for the U of A, but you have to be realistic here. Everybody wants a bigger job. You know, everybody wants the lifetime contract that Calipari has. You know, if USC offers that, well, then you got to go chase that. On the other side,
I think we lost you. Go ahead, Steven.
Who's the plan B for Musselman leaves? I like what Musselman's done, but the Arkansas kids are leaving in droves. I'd just soon be mediocre with all the Arkansas kids and sprinkle in some talent, not the other way around.
Well, Steven, we'll start with the USC job. He is probably either going to take a pay cut or get paid about the same. I can't foresee USC paying their basketball coach more than $4.5 million or $5 million. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just in my estimation. I think Andy Enfield was getting about $4 million. Your second question is probably the question that every single one of you have contemplated this morning. Who are they going to go get if this transpires like some of you think it will? Is it, say, Chris Beard, who has the Little Rock connection, won at Texas, has won at least 20 games at Ole Miss where they didn't have anybody. The guy's won everywhere he's been. Is it, here's this name, is it Will Wade? Would you entertain that? Would you entertain a Jerome Tane out at Kansas State in Manhattan? Hang
on. Come back to Beard a minute, because he's got a contract extension that's pending or something. I've been reading stuff, and I don't believe everything I read, so I always just wait for Ty to tell me. That way I know it's the truth. So what's going on with Beard? Because to me, you throw out the name Chris Beard, and that seems like, man,
we're the lightning rod.
Well, but it seems like we're also throwing out a name that I don't know that is realistic because of the shortness of the tenure he's had at Ole Miss, and I think you're getting people in a mindset that's not real.
I would love.
That's
to
not
be able
realistic. But maybe there's something going on there that
take
they
their
keep reading about this contract stuff.
I can't verify this with 100% authenticity, but I believe he has not signed that said extensions, and which would increase his buyout and increase other factors.
Okay.
So again, I can't 100%, but I think that is of all this, and you Christian, you probably get the same. I got a ton of calls and texts yesterday. Every single one of them mentioned Chris Beard in some capacity. Some as the front runner, some as the guys that fan want. That it will be the fan favorite. I don't know if it's the odds-on favorite to land if Eric Musselman goes out west, but that is the fan favorite right now.
Let's get to that after the first shoe drops. We're trying to already solve the problem when the problem hasn't occurred quite yet. We see it coming, but the conversation this morning is about Muss and him interviewing for this job and how we feel about that. And those that if he does leave, that, what do you do with the players that are on this roster? We'll get to a coach later on, but the conversation this morning is really about Muss and how do you feel? Do you want him to stay or you ready to move on? Everybody loved it when you're going to Sweet 16s and Elite 8s.
And who you're siding with, too. Who are you siding with in this situation?
What do you mean by that?
In terms of your athletics director, Hunter Yurchek, who supposedly put his foot in mud a couple days ago, but when you look back on it, you might have a different opinion, or are you siding with the basketball coach that got you out of the depths after 20-plus years of ineptitude? And we've taken texts. We've gotten plenty of them, the McLarty Daniel hotline. Some are with Muss, some are with Yurchek, but that's also a big factor on this is where the fans still put their allegiance in.
I agree, but now we're asking fans to give $50 a month. Now we're telling the fans, hey, if you don't give us your credit card, we're not going to be able to win. And I think they're going to ramp up that conversation. So, in the end, it's our program as fans. And in the end, it's the season ticket holders who have been asked to do what the last 2 or 3 years? Increase what it costs to be a season ticket holder. I mean, it's the nature of the beast that goes along with success. I understand that, but that's where we're at. How do you feel out there? I mean, I paid more for season tickets this year than I've ever paid before. For what? Watch a team that missed the tournament, by the way, another losing record in SEC play. I get swept under the rug of last year's tournament success. The last 2 years have not had a winning SEC record. That doesn't get talked about enough. And, now you feel like you're being, your coach is turning his back on you.
Yeah. And Morgan and Fort Smith texting in on the McLarty Daniel hotline. I will try and sift through these as quick as I can. If my employer knew I was interviewing for another company, the same business, he would tell me to keep on walking.
Mm-hmm.
That conversation, from my vantage point, hasn't necessarily said, like straight up, Hunter said to Muss, hey, you need to find another job. We're done with you. But it appears like there is at least some legs to that idea. I think about Kendall Briles a few short years ago when he was being interviewed and trying to get raises by other job. And at a certain point, Sam was like, or at least my opinion was, Sam was like, hey, you probably need to go. Probably need to go elsewhere. And I think there might be some similarities here. I know it's a head coach versus an offensive coordinator, but I think there could be a comparison that was between those two.
I'm looking, we got, we had the director of the new Arkansas Collective and the Arkansas Edge NIL fund on, and they have failed in figuring out how to get the masses behind this. He told us 500-ish that had gotten involved as of the time he was on last week. Mm-hmm. They've got this drive for 5 and trying to get 5,000. It's these kind of things that turn fans off, that make them feel angered or disrespected or whatever adjective you want to throw on that. Here's maybe a golden opportunity in all of this to turn that around if it's handled right and to make the fans feel, more important and less jilted in all of this. You get tired of feeling like you're a pawn in all of this equation of college athletics, because that's what we've become. And now they got their hand out again for NIL. But here's the and Arkansas hadn't been able to turn that corner. Clearly, if you've got less than 1,000 people that have signed up for your crowdsourcing NIL collective, You haven't figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
This might be an opportunity in all of this based on how you communicate and talk to the fans as Hunter Yurachek and potentially as Eric Musselman. We've already got the handwriting on the wall. There's probably a better chance than 50 he's leaving, probably at this point. But, the fans, they're going to be the ones left behind. The ones that buy season tickets, they're going to be the ones left behind and need to be considered more in the equation with the athletic department.
Well, the only way that, again, you feel like you're involved and you feel like you can inject some life into it's not with Eric Musselman as your basketball coach. Because if you bring him back or if he decides to come back or however this plays out, it's not going to inject life because you feel like someone that is your head basketball coach does not fully want to be here. So the only way that your scenario plays out from a positive standpoint is if he leaves and that the person you hire not revives, because it's not a dead basketball program. They're a year off from going to the Sweet 16, but ignites it again, like Eric Musselman did in his second year. That's how you get to the NIL. And the Bobby Petrino thing I thought would inject more life, but evidently it didn't. I don't know if the basketball program is enough because we know football drives this state. Basketball is a clear second. I don't even know if that could be enough of a push because football didn't get enough of a push.
You have the number one baseball team in the country, and it doesn't seem to motivate enough people. Now, baseball, as much as we love it and as successful as they are, it's still third to football and basketball. But, this is a place where, you get set up, and finally after, what is it, the cicadas are coming back out after being underground for 17 years. It's kind of like Razorback basketball was underground for the better part of 17 years, and now it reemerged under Muss. Do you feel a little bit like you've had the blanket pulled out from under you, the rug pulled out from under you a little bit at this point? If he goes, do you feel like, hey, all these last 3 years, while it felt good in the moment, the Elite Eights and the Sweet 16s, that the rug's been pulled out from under you?
No, because he did way more positive than negative.
Why, if he just turns down the USC job, would you not welcome him back?
Because you're still, again,
based on what you just said,
on the perception. Again, if I don't know how he comes back. And again, I've seen stranger things in college sports. I don't know what is playing out in him and Danielle and Hunter's mind. I don't know how he comes back, but there's still way more positives than negatives that have happened in his tenure. And I don't know how anyone with a cognitive mind could push back on that. I know fans, sometimes we go all over the place, but you cannot tell me that there's been more negatives than positives in the tenure of Eric Musselman. That has not expired just yet, by the way.
Yeah.
This is an interview. This is not a signing. It's a reported interview. That's where I stand on that.
All right, what do you think? Our Morning Rush Daily Question is coming up in just a minute. You can call or text us on the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Do you feel disrespected as a fan in all of this? I'd love to hear some response from you out there as season ticket holder or just fan of the program, whatever. How do you feel about all of this as a fan? Brought to you by the Fence Man. If you need powered automatic gates, they're the company that can do it. Custom projects are no issue, and a lot of times you'll have a weird size opening or a weird slope or something like that. Fence Man doesn't shy away from that stuff because they build everything custom. So if you've got a kind of a unique width on a driveway or a walk-through gate you need that's a little wider or a little narrower than usually, and you want to control the access to those areas, call the Fence Man. They'll have a solution for you. 782-3936 is their number. From wood privacy fences and vinyl fencing to custom wrought iron installations, they do everything. 782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
A lot more to get to coming up.
Hey, this is Ryan McGee with ESPN and Marty and McGee, and you are listening to The Morning Rush.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newts. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship. And we're floating in a sea of red.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Will your bracket be better than Matt Jones, Derek Ruskin, and the rest of the ESPN Arkansas team? Then prove it. Sign up for the HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge presented by On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley. Registration is easy. Just find the contest on HitThatLine.com. The HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge is also brought to you in part by Walk On Sports Bistro, Century Bank of the Ozarks, Cafe Conchisme, Links at Chaffee Crossing, and Foghorns Wings.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
All right, the Morning Rush Daily Question is pretty simple. Will Eric Musselman take the USC head basketball coaching job? Again, if you want to get in with us, do so at 877-377-6963. We've kind of beating around the bush first hour and 20 minutes. I'll be the first to say it. That I've definitively said it. Yes. Eric Musselman will be the USC head coach. I mean, he will be the USC head coach. He will no longer be the Arkansas head basketball coach. Finally put it to airwaves. I thought that there was a chance he was going to leave. It picked up a little bit. I don't know how he comes back after all of this. It's the first time I've actually said it. I could be completely wrong, and he could be retained as the head coach of Arkansas, and he could have success this next year. I think that Eric Musselman is going to be the USC basketball coach in 2024, 2025.
I think the toothpaste is way too far out of the tube, and we know how difficult that is to put in there. There seems to be, from the outside looking in, a strain on the relationship between boss and coach, AD and coach. I don't think any of this was willy-nilly or uncalculated in Hunter Yurachek's appearance on that podcast. At the moment, I know some have criticized and dissected the words, but I think all of it. I think even the posting the video of the bus deal. Do you view that phrase as you're still here? Do you view that maybe a little bit differently? So to answer the question directly, that's why I feel the way it is. Yes, I think he will not be the head coach at the University of Arkansas by the end of the week, because I think, it's hard to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Humpty Dumpty's falling off the wall here.
And someone texted earlier that USC averaged like less than 5,000 fans. It's nothing you've done wrong. Not a thing.
Nope.
You've done everything right as a devout Arkansas basketball fan that wandered through the wilderness for 20-plus years. You finally got a coach capable of turning this thing around, not to the Sutton level, not to the Richardson level, but a coach that showed you that this basketball program is the second best job in the SEC, even in 2024. It's the second best job. And if it plays out like I just said it might, and again, I think Eric Musselman is going to take the USC job. I want to be definitive about that. Then you deserve a coach that is fully devout to you as a rabid Razorback fan, not just with football, not just with baseball, but we know, every single one of us listening know what this program is capable of. Every single one of us.
And we'll get to all of it, because we've had a few say they don't feel disrespected. Some do, but all that the fans have done in the Eric Musselman tenure, financially, emotionally, and otherwise, hasn't seemed to add it up to enough to keep him here. So we'll get back to that in just a little bit. That's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It's brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
So Tyler texted in saying, I'm pushing Muss away. How can he come back? I think I've been very complimentary of Eric Musselman in his tenure here. He's pushing himself out, Tyler, and to everyone listening. If this
you're not the one interviewing.
No.
You're not carrying him out there. You're not flying him on your private plane.
This is on his own accord, his own action.
He made this choice.
And when go back to something you said earlier, when things are great, there is less accountability in every work situation, regardless if it's coaching or a normal office desk job, normal cubicle. If you have the numbers, then there's going to be less micromanaging. And I don't think Hunter Yurachek is a micromanager per se, but he had to manage more because he has to deal with donors. He has to deal with prospective NIL people that would be willing to donate to the basketball program, and he gets asked these questions, and he gets asked all these different things on why the basketball program faltered and failed this year. And so he, in turn, if I had to guess, had more rigorous conversations with Eric Musselman that he probably did not take too kindly to, knowing his nature and knowing his personality.
Go back to when we were all kids. When you brought home that report card with A's on it, there wasn't a lot of accountability for mom and dad, was there? Man, you slip in the house for after a 9-week period or whatever, and you got a couple more C's or a D on there that doesn't meet expectations. The old TV got turned off, or depending on your age, maybe the Xbox or your Nintendo when I was a kid was taken away till those grades were brought up. We've seen on occasion where kids, or their parents, take them out of basketball or football for a while because their grades aren't meeting expectations. We've all been taught accountability in different ways, but my point being, when you had all A's on there, mom and dad didn't have a lot of accountability for you. When you're making the Elite Eight, you go into the Sweet 16, and those are really the levels of measuring results in basketball, because we could go back and look at the conference record. Even last year, that was 8-10. This year, we know it. The whole record was a game below 500. Clearly not meeting expectations. There's some C's and D's on that report card right now. And Hunter Yurachek doesn't have an all-A's report card to get to. And I think this comes back to accountability. Nobody seeks accountability very often in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of your age, regardless of your environment. And I think when you pay somebody, $4 million, and football coaches in some places make a lot more than that. There's a few basketball coaches that make more. He's top 15 compensated basketball coach. You feel like you're beyond some of that accountability. You do things the way you feel entitled because of the setup you have. And I think this comes back pure and simple to accountability. Things have been hunky-dory while you're making the Elite Eight. I can see it in my mind, that video of Hunter Yurachek. Where was it at? Where he's running around celebrating with the fans that had traveled into Indianapolis. That was, to celebrate the Razorbacks. They make the Elite Eight. Was that after the Oral Roberts game? I'm trying to remember.
I believe so, yeah. 99% that, or Texas Tech.
You think about the fans that made the sacrifice to go there, or to San Francisco
during COVID.
When the economy was uncertain for many. It was good for some, bad for a lot of us. Fans were there, loved unconditionally. Now, we loved the results as much as we loved Eric Musselman. But in the end, I don't remember many fans this past season saying Muss wasn't the guy for the job. The blame fell maybe in some places it shouldn't have. People question some of the players out of the transfer portal and some of the process. But, Ty, I don't remember a lot of these fans saying, hey, we got to find a different coach. You remember taking many of those calls or reading many of those texts? No. But here it is, the first apparent sign of some accountability and some difficult waters. And we're looking, we're taking interviews and looking elsewhere. I think you got to feel a little disrespected out of that. Just like I was talking about that video. Hunter Yurachek surrounded by fans who made the sacrifice to go there. Fans that went to Nashville. There were fans that went this year, despite the kind of season you had. We're there on the worst night of the tournament to be playing on that Wednesday night. Fans made the sacrifice to be there. So fans have been asked to pay more for tickets, donate more to keep their seats. Does any of that mean anything? I guess it's just the world we live in right now.
And I think when it comes to this discussion, you can jump in here with us via the McLarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. I know that Los Angeles is not home per se. California as a whole is what we call it, even though he's not technically from there. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of you live in Arkansas, and you've had places to live elsewhere, but you live here because it's home to you. So I would understand it from that perspective. But what is hard for me to get over and contemplate, like, I would understand Eric Musselman, like, the home is one thing. I would also understand if they had a good season last year. The Kansas job popped open, the Kentucky job popped open, UCLA popped open, one of the blue bloods in college basketball. And Muss said, and he was interviewed in Empire, and I would say, I get it. I understand that. Now, I hope he would not make disparaging comments like the late Eddie Sutton did, talking about crawling in Kentucky. But that makes sense. But for all of you listening, does it make sense? And this is not my words. This is the words of every college basketball analyst out there that would tell you to your face that Arkansas is a better basketball job to USC. I think,
that's a rhetorical question.
And it's almost like a slap in the face. It's like you're downgrading, right? If it plays out and he ends up taking this job, I have to have that asterisk every time. I think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened just yet. The interview to me, and I use this word now, it just seems like a formality. Like this would not, I don't know if Arkansas let it get out, if USC let it get out, if Muss's camp let it get out. But
all of them?
Yeah, you can't fly out there and then not take the job. I mean, something wild would have to happen in the next 2 or 3 days.
Why the heck is he having an interview? He's as good as I believe he is, and I think you do as well. And the USC job's on the shelf. We all know it's on compared to the Arkansas job. Why in the world do you even have an interview, man? They should just tender the offer sheet and move on. I mean, you think he needs to go out there to see the practice facility? No. Think he needs to understand, the neighborhood he might want to live in? No. None of that. To me, I don't even understand that process of it.
Maybe
Eric Musselman's on a level he shouldn't have to even interview.
Maybe the interview is more of maybe it was the report. It could be accurate from the sense of that Muss is going out to Los Angeles, but the interview could be an incorrect way of framing what's happening today. That would be the response I would have to that question. Is that fair for me to speculate on that?
But again, speculate's the key word and all that. But I think we both agree Muss is a good enough coach, and USC's in their place in college basketball that they would be lucky to have him.
If he wants out, then he needs to leave. And this is I don't know how you could come to the conclusion of him not wanting out if he's even interviewing for the job.
I agree with you. And as a fan, and you went to Indianapolis, you went to San Francisco. Now, you were working, and someone else was paying your bills.
Working, yeah.
And someone else was paying your way. But for everyone else that paid their own way, took vacation time, used their Hilton Honors points, whatever it was to get there, paid the money for the tickets. A sold out arena. You couldn't get a ticket the last couple of years. Sold out season tickets. As a head coach, that's a dream for a head coach with a 19,000 seat arena. Talks of remodeling your arena and updating and spending
based on your specifications and recommendations from the Chase Center in San Francisco that you played in.
So is none of this enough? Because I don't think anyone's got a hand in his back pushing him out the door. It's certainly not the fans. Now, I think he's hard to work with and around and for and whatever. And I don't imagine he's a lot of fun, if you're in that administration at times up there. In fact, I know he's not. But, you got to feel a little bit like you're getting slapped in the face here. Collectively, tickets cost more this last year. Donations went up. All of it.
There was more of an investment in Arkansas.
And we answered the call, to borrow the old phrase.
Yeah.
Sold out the arena.
There's more than, and I would guess the NIL money that was raised was more than it was the previous couple years. So there was more of an investment from the Arkansas fan base than there's probably ever been from a financial standpoint. And the season didn't go according to plan. And now your coach is in the interview process of exiting.
And don't tell me it's Northwest, and no one's suggesting it's Northwest Arkansas, because where do all these coaches and people that have been here before oftentimes stay or even come back to and retire? Northwest Arkansas. They move back here because it's a great place to live. We all know that, and they figure it out too. So I don't know. What more can you do as a fan base than what you've done to support that coach in this basketball program?
Well, we've got some calls to get to on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. We got one open line, so if you want to jump in, 877-377-6969. 6-3. Russ Daniel and company definitely getting their money's worth today based on the text and the calls that we've received. All right, let's start with John, who's in Fort Smith. John, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Hey, it's pretty straight and simple what's going on today. He's been offered the job, and he's going out there to accept it, and he won't be flying back. I mean, all the national guys are saying it that's in the know. My bigger question is this. Guys that are close to the program are saying that he's been looking for a way out for even before the season started. So my question is, what happened? Where did the relationship between him and Juracek sour? I don't think this happened in the last couple of months, or maybe even during the season. Supposedly he's been looking for a while, and so that's the bigger question I have is, man, what happened? Like, when did I know the season went bad, but if he was looking before the season started, which I believe from some people I've talked to that are very close to the program, that's exactly what was going on. That he was putting feelers out before the season even started. So, man, what happened there? Because I agree with Tommy. It's a slap in the face. You're not going to get better support than you're getting here. You're certainly not going to get it at USC. I mean, USC is,
It would take 4 games for them to have the amount of fans at one game at Arkansas by comparison. 4 games. Thanks, John, for the call.
Yeah. And I think Muss has had a wandering eye for months. I don't know if it's been before the season, but this is also part, just look at his resume. It's also part of what he has done throughout his career. Now, some of that's just the nature of professional basketball and what happens there. But, what is it like? Like he's had more than a dozen jobs in a decade or something like that. So, I mean, I'd have to get the media guide out and look through it. But
Two college jobs, a lot of other jobs. All right, next call, we'll go to Ben in Fayetteville. What's up, Ben?
Guys, man, this is bad news, but I don't think that this is unexpected. I mean, we know that Muss wants to go back to the NBA. California is where he's from. The question I have and the things that I looked at, I don't think this is on Muss. I think some of this is on Juracek. If you look how good that Houston has become since Juracek left Houston, look at that. Look at some of the other hires that Juracek has made here that have not worked out the way that maybe everybody wanted. So now you think about, who does Juracek hire next? He left Houston in 2017. Look at Houston's basketball record since he left and how many Elite Eights, Final Fours that Houston has been to. Check that out. You guys are the best. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I can't remember the timeline if Juracek hired Sampson or if Sampson was hired before/after. I don't know. I mean, he hired Muss, and Muss took you to the first Elite Eight since 1995. So that wasn't a bad hire. I know Mike Neighbors.
Well, it's his best hire at this point.
Yeah, I know.
And now the fact that there's not been change in your women's basketball program, because many expected after the season that the women's team has had, there's been no change to this point. Maybe it all comes into focus because none of this has caught Hunter Juracek or probably anyone in the inner circle off guard. But conducting 2 coaching searches at once probably is more than you'd want to ask of an AD. And maybe it's all coming into focus why some of the things that has happened has, and things that haven't happened yet haven't.
And the other thing, Ben, you kind of alluded to it. If this plays out like I think it's going to, and Eric Musselman takes the USC job, do you trust Hunter Juracek to make a good basketball hire? Because let's be abundantly clear about something at 7:39 this morning on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. This is a really good basketball job. It's not the best in the SEC. That one is in Lexington, Kentucky, Lawrence, Kansas. There's other better jobs.
He's elevated it. He's made it better since he arrived.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say elevated. He just brought it back into focus. This is a Sutton, Richardson, and then Richardson, Sutton, Muss. That is the order of the basketball coaches that have been here in Fayetteville. And all it's done, I mean, I'll give Doug Gottlieb credit. You woke up a sleeping giant. We have a really, I can't say great because it's not great, but we have a really good basketball program in Fayetteville. And there will be a lot of interested coaches out there that you might not think would be interested, but they are going to be. If you ask the coaching community, which is the only thing that matters in this discussion, it's not what fans think, it's not what athletics directors think, it's what coaches think. And you ask them about the job here with the Arkansas basketball program and playing in Bud Walton Arena, every single one of them will tell you it's a really, really good job. And that's the only thing that matters in this discussion when it comes to the possibility of Eric Musselman leaving as your basketball coach and the perspective or the prospect of who you could go get, which is going to be wide-ranging.
All right, a Hog update on the way. Plus, we'll read some of your text and back to the calls. 2 lines open right now, 877-377-6963 on the McLarty Daniel hotline. We're brought to you by Gaston's White River Resort, our place to get away, unwind, and relax. Hey, we're going to go somewhere for an interview, Ty. Let's just go to Gaston's. We'll just fly right in. Someone can pick us up on their plane. We'll fly right into Gaston's, their private airstrip that's on property. We'll have a great meal overlooking the White River. We can negotiate all the finer points. I mean, it really would be a place to kind of get away and relax. They got great high-speed internet there. They got fiber that has been brought in there, so you're never too far away from all the things you need to do. And you have a great view of the White River out the window of every cabin and lodge on site. So you'll love your time at Gaston's. I always enjoy my visits to Gaston's and wish they were more frequent and longer when I do get there. 877-377-6963 is their number. 870, what did I just say? I gave our number. 870-431-5202 is their number. Our number was the other one I just gave. 870-431-5202 for Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's. A first-class time every time.
Hi, this is Mike Greenberg with ESPN Radio, and you're listening to the morning.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Reed from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with a...
Is your home for one of their local pros. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, we're going to do this pretty quick this morning because I know we still got some calls to get to. Arkansas baseball beats Arkansas State 13-0 yesterday in a quick game. Here is one of the highlights from yesterday. Nolan Souza, again, going yard. It was pretty encouraging to see. And I just like the fact that Souza was joking about after the game. He's still not used to it as a Hawaiian. A little cold here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
The cold's not fun. I've never been in the cold before. I've never experienced like a real winter or anything. And I thought once it got warm, we were done with the cold. So this cold coming back is kind of weird, but we get through it.
Nolan and Vihiva, 2 guys from Hawaii, having to adjust. Their old coach, or I guess Nolan's coach, Rick Nomura, played here at Arkansas. And I think
I'm with them. I thought it was going to stay warm too. And then like yesterday, I left the house and it was like 60-something. And by dinner time, it was 50 degrees.
That's a beef of mine this morning. I can't really complain about much, but that is a beef. When Arkansas looks like it's on the verge of spring weather, I know we're in spring, it ends up reverting back to cold. It wasn't, again, 30 degrees yesterday.
Almost like having a coach get you to an Elite Eight.
Yeah, it's part of that. All right, that is your Hog Update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with Benny Malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Brad is in Bentonville this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. What's up, Brad?
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to make a point that any coach that comes to Arkansas with this current regime or is currently there can say, well, look, you brought back Bobby Petrino. Who cares if I go and have a dinner date with USC? What are y'all going to do about it? Nobody's going to be upset about it. You're going to forgive it and let me come back. So I think Musselman looks at it and sees a little bit of a weak athletic director and says he'll do anything to win. He'll compromise and things that he may have not approved of before. As long as I'm producing, he won't care.
Also, I see maybe a little bit from the other side, Robert, in the fact that, or Brad, I'm sorry, Brad, if Muss wants to leave, is the USC job really the best he can do? I mean, I think we all agree the Arkansas job's better. As far as the world of basketball, forget the money and all that. It's a step down, right?
And the Michigan job was better. The Louisville job was better.
Better than USC. Yeah. I'm not going to go as far as it's better than Arkansas.
Yeah, to the USC comparison.
Right.
And SMU, I would not think is better, and yet Andy Enfield left USC for SMU.
Yeah. That's a lot of what you need to know right there.
I think Michigan and Louisville are clear are clear front runners when you compare the UFC job.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's career suicide if he takes his job because he's way too far down the track for a foolish comment like that. But clear step down. But also, I mean, he's a coach that has not had a winning record in a couple of years in conference play and didn't have a winning record for the season this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, your record is your resume.
Robert's in Fort Smith. What's up, Robert?
Hey, guys. We keep talking about a step down. I think it's a step down for a job-wise. But for contact-wise, NBA-wise, I think if that's what he wants to do, it's going to help him more because he just has to get on a plane to fly to see these NBA people or all of his contacts. They're right there in his back pocket. If he wants to go in the NBA, eventually, they're right there, and he gets to talk to them all the time. You know, it sucks for us, but that's just what I'm thinking.
I don't think he has that much of an NBA desire at this juncture in his career, Robert.
You didn't think he had a desire to leave Arkansas a few weeks ago either, but so who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you may be right, but we're speculating.
How much do you think Danielle has influenced Muss's?
Yeah, that was the text we got from Joe and Jasper.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're married, if you're going to look for another job, is your wife going to have influence on that?
Do you think she's kind of driving the
the
bus, so to speak?
I wouldn't have any way of accurately answering that or knowing that.
Yeah, it's just speculation.
You were over there for Easter dinner. What did she have to say?
Easter dinner, yeah. You know what? It was a
didn't come up.
It was a contentious discussion, but we made it. We made the work regardless. I
don't know. I'm speculating, and they can talk about Pool House and him sleeping out there and all this stuff. He gets his way a lot at work. It appears he runs things his way with an iron fist. Would you say that's accurate? The way he runs his program.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess things at home probably aren't a 180.
They aren't a 180?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say they.
I'm going to guess they aren't a 180 at home either.
Well, you run this office with not reckless abandon. What's the word I'm looking for? With an iron fist, but it's a 180 at home, right? You've been open about that before on this show, correct?
I don't know if it's a complete 180. Maybe a 90. Maybe a 90.
What's the maybe that's a halfway
I don't know.
there. Trying to do the math in my head real quick.
Who's on one, Christian?
Cecil,
what's up? Real quick, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. Roll.
I got 30 seconds. Okay. Well, first of all, I just think that hey, if a coach decide to leave, if they even having thoughts about going talk to another school, even and Arkansas is a great school. It's the fifth best place to live in the United States. His wife's from Arkansas, but if he's actually want to even have an interview with another school, the athletic director's gotta know, hey, let me find somebody else quick, because the first job come open, he gone.
Yep. Cecil, appreciate the call. Here's the deal. It's like a girlfriend or a wife. You shouldn't have to convince her to stay with you. If you're married, you're dating, this is not a situation where we should have to convince Eric Musselman to be the Arkansas head basketball coach. It's too good of a job. There's too good of fan support, and there's too much invested in this program to have to convince this guy that he should stay in Fayetteville. It's that simple.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $1 billion. So, what would you do if you won?
Buy a baseball team.
Ooh, I would definitely buy my mom a Tesla so that she can drive cool, look cool.
If I won a jackpot, I'll start a cooking school for the youth in the city.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $1 billion. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
This is The Morning Rush.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is the reigning champion of my own conference, Robert.
You do realize that's not a thing.
Well, I did receive a plaque commemorating that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I was elected the president of Mars. Anyway, Hog fans, it's that time again.
It's baseball season. And Hog fans, the Stadium Shop has everything you need for Razorback baseball.
From t-shirts, sweatshirts, man cave stuff, and even a Razorback original, the Bases Loaded beer hats.
Plus, ladies, as well as a restocked women's section, we have the Bases Loaded beer Stein boppers.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old-time space alien antennas, you know?
Yeah, well, not really.
So when you're in Fayetteville, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road, next door to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can shop us on them WW Interweb, Facegram, you get it, Matt.
Dad, do you mean the website?
Yeah.
Which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or call us at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486.
As always,
go Hogs!
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny, breezy. Our high temperatures this afternoon in the middle to upper 50s. Mainly clear sky tonight. Overnight low mid-30s north, low 40s south. And then Thursday, blue sky, sunshine. Our high in the low to mid-60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell. Ready to serve. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
There's more to the possibility of him leaving than some people think. That is the definitive statement I made on this again.
Based on
we'll
what?
come back to the fact that there's been radio silence from us in this 2 weeks, and it's about to be 3 weeks as of Thursday.
What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the discussion that's being had.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's hour number 3 of the Morning Rush here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. Plenty of you have given your take via the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Tommy, Big C, myself have given our take on Eric Musselman reportedly interviewing for the USC head basketball job today. But what does Clay Henry, the Hall of Famer, think? Not just about this, but Bobby Petrino back at Arkansas. Got a chance to listen to him yesterday. Clay wrote a recent column on the football team at hitthatline.com, which you can still read. I read it earlier this week. So we'll discuss that more. The baseball team whacking Arkansas State yesterday 13-0, and they have just dominated these midweek games so far.
Clay's column had so much knowledge, you should read it twice, actually.
Read it twice?
It might rub off on you a little bit.
It took me long enough to read it once.
Hey, one thing you shouldn't do this morning, because, hey, we want you to text the program, but we want you to do it safely. It is a real problem around our state. Is distracted driving. To the Arkansas State Police want us to remind you that distracted driving is a real problem. Between 2011 and 2020, more than 32,000 Americans lost their lives in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. Whatever you have to do, remove the temptation. Put that phone in the glove box, turn it to Do Not Disturb. Let someone else in the car be the designated texter. Whatever it is, even texting the Morning Rush can just wait. Pull over, park, use your device safely. There's no excuse for putting the lives of others in your car or others on the road at risk with distracted driving. Remember this, in Arkansas, put the phone away or pay. This message brought to you by the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
I have just one question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
Here he is. Clay Henry.
Clay, welcome into the program this morning. It's been fast and furious thus far, and I know that there has been no breaking news on the final decision one way or another for Eric Musselman and his future, but what did you make of the initial report that came out yesterday from On3 that he's interviewing for the USC job today?
Well, I never doubted that there would be interest from him. I didn't know whether Southern Cal, in fact, I talked about it last week, it's like you just had to coach with a losing season. Do you want to dive right back into that? And can that be sold in L.A.? But I figured he would have interest, and I've always, when you talk to a coach and they explain maybe decisions that they made, and oftentimes the family has a role in that, and I do not think Danielle was real happy with things on Twitter and how things went this year, and California's been their safe haven. I mean, Christmas time, you have 3 days off, and he's on a plane, and he sends the players home, and he went to California for 2.5 days. I mean, I'm talking about the family, and that's a sign. It's like that's our place. That's where we want to be, and I get that. That's where he's from, and
that's why you live. That's why you live near the river, right? That's why you moved.
Correct.
That's why you moved near the White River in the North Fork.
Your place.
Yeah.
And so does your family, is my point. And that wasn't a fun year for Danielle. And if that's their happy place, then they have a chance to do that. I went back, listened to a podcast that Bo Mattingly did, just a hog pod. I think you can find it. It might be between his first and second year, but it's been a while back. When things got hot and going good, he did a pod. First year was not. You don't really know what was about to happen because they suspended the season,
right,
during the SEC tournament, or I guess maybe was it before the SEC tournament?
It was during. Yeah,
he beat Vanderbilt, and they were going to play South Carolina.
So we didn't really get to see that his. What his postseason magic was, which happened the next year. And I think that podcast happened about then. And Bo asked him what he wanted his legacy to be. And he says, when I'm gone, I want fans to really, really miss me. I mean, it was just weird at the time, and it's weird now. In other words, he could see in his mind that he would be someplace else, not be here. And the coaches that you've always heard at Arkansas, they say, this is the place that I can retire. This is the place my family likes best. I just don't think that's the way it is for him.
All right, Clay, about a week or so ago, you gave young Ty a really good journalism lesson here on the air about double-checking and figuring out what you've got before you go with it. I want you to look at this reporting because we've got really one report from a veteran reporter out there, but it's on a message board behind a paywall. This is a guy that covers the program. As you've looked at the reporting on this interview, what's your analysis of that? Because you always said the news will break from the other end. Is this the news breaking, or what's your analysis of the reporting?
I don't know what you're talking about specifically, and I can understand how you want it to be a little veiled, but it's I mean, you don't give publicity to, somebody reporting rumors. You check the rumors. That's your job. But I think it did break there. First of all, they had to have an opening, and they didn't, at this time last week. That was still playing out. Andy Enfield to SMU. Took a little longer, and I mean, they probably had to do some vetting on their end to make sure what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
That also gave Southern Cal a chance to do their vetting, if there needed to be some. But I just get this feeling that some of this has gone on behind the scenes for a long time, and that search firms, they have vetted Eric Musselman, and that's the way it happens. And a lot of times, but it does have to break on the other end first. But I do think that there's a lot of information flowing out of the Musselman camp, and I'm talking about assistant coaches, families, and that happens often. That's when things are imminent, then those people feel comfortable talking because they know they're not going to be here anymore. They don't worry about that. They're worried about, their next stop. And are they going to LA? Some of them are. Some of them probably are not. That's often the time when a coach can, if things aren't right on his staff, well, he can reshuffle the deck a little bit. But sometimes it's hard in the middle of recruiting because, well, this guy's got the in on this guy, and I really need him to stay for at least a few more weeks. But I think there's some of that information coming out from the Arkansas camp that wasn't at this time last week.
Okay, because I look at that, and that's the one thing that gives me a little bit of pause on this and not get too far down the tracks. We still have essentially one report from one guy that people have ran with and cited that report.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. But I've seen there's been information on national sites. National reporters have talked about it, that they think he's gone, and I don't think they're using that report. I mean, those guys are a little better than that. They're going to dig in. Some of these guys have sources in L.A. I mean, and I know who they are. So yeah, I haven't worked on the really hard news in a long time. I mean, it's been since I moved over here. That was a calculated decision. I pulled myself out of a lot of situations, so I'm not in the loop on this. And, but I do know that there is talk coming from within that staff at Arkansas, where that you can find out that he's interviewing, because they're talking about it, and some of them may know what the result of the interview is going to be. Oftentimes it's not where they're trying to find out anything. They're trying to convince him to come if he's on an interview like this. If he's the first one, they were sitting on go, as they say.
Yeah. We were talking about earlier how I know you don't like to get into telling people how to feel, and particularly fans. So I'll
doesn't
preface
usually
that.
work, Tommy.
Well, I know, but I just wonder, will there be a sense of disrespect from the people that bought the tickets to fill that arena this past season? Will there, the people that went to Indianapolis and San Francisco and followed this team in the tournament, the people that went to Nashville this year, despite the team having to play on Wednesday night, I would imagine it would feel much like a slap in the face when this fan base has responded and done everything they need to do, and there's been no push in the back from the fans to roll this guy out of here.
No,
and now
I
at the
heard
first,
anybody say that
not
he should
one,
be fired.
not one person.
No,
and now
no
at the first sign of a tough season and a little accountability for your performance, it feels like, hey, we're just going to find a greener pasture. That's kind of how I feel this morning as someone who bought season tickets with a company's money. It's someone,
there it is.
It's someone
finally paying
well,
off.
I mean, but the reality is, that's something I'm held accountable for. My point is, they filled that arena. They sold every seat based on what they've done, and now at the first sign of trouble, just
Clay, if I could, I'd like to field this one first. It is a slap in the face to even interview.
I don't disagree. Hadn't taken the job.
To take the job is
it always is.
Yeah, but
it always is.
With every single fan knowing that you are, and by the way, that report has been confirmed by multiple outlets here. Yeah. So I can't 100% guarantee the authenticity, but it seems pretty authentic.
Oh, I don't
doubt it. It is a slap in the face to every single one of you. You don't even have to be a season ticket holder. You can just be a fan to even interview. It's one thing to have your sometimes agents do things without permission, or they're just trying to get their guy raised or whatever. But this guy's interviewing for this job. I don't know how you look at it, anything else than a slap in the face. And Clay, to go off of Tommy's question, how would you come back from this if you're Eric Musselman?
Yeah, so I'll take you back to a different time. Houston Nutt has some modest success at Arkansas, and it's looking back, it might be better than we thought then. And he flirted with Nebraska, and then really, really, I think, was interested in the LSU job. And he goes out actually to the airport, to get on a plane. He didn't do it. And Coach Broyles told him at the time, says, you've lost a good chunk of the fan base just because of what you just said, Tommy and Ty. I mean, it's like it is a slap in the face. Mm-hmm. It's like you ain't going there. Nebraska, we don't have to play you. But we're not going to go play you. And the fact that you thought about it, you must not love the helmet the way you said you love the helmet. Mm-hmm. If you would go consider LSU.
Yeah.
Well, and I was told by the people that were really close to Jimmy Johnson when he was head coach at Oklahoma State, and he's interviewing. He went after, he was after the Arkansas job, and then he took the Miami job without anybody knowing that he had, that someone did come to Stillwater and interview him. He didn't go there, but he knew that it couldn't get out again that he was going to interview. The fan base was upset, and that's going to happen every time you interview. So a sitting head coach oftentimes is not going to have an official interview like this because it is tough to go back home after that. It's not home anymore.
But, from a fan perspective, I know we had a little spat and a little fight over dinner last night, but I thought we were going steady. I didn't know you were going to go on another date with somebody else. That's kind of how it feels.
Well,
we've been dating a long time. What are you doing?
What I will
taking
say
someone
to
else's
that,
call?
Yeah, Tommy, all that's correct. You put it together well. But the other part about it is that if you had Eric Musselman the last 5 years, and as much as we, and I'll use Ty's words, as much as we've dove it in, we know that they love California, specifically Southern California. And if there is a good job open there, that's always going to be, and I'll use your word, Tommy, that's the worry. That
but
can
it was
happen.
UCLA
So it's
I was
not
worried
surprising.
about.
Yeah, but USC's a good place. I mean, it's a good job.
Not as good as this one.
Here's the big if on this whole deal. I think they must have upgraded what they're going to spend on basketball if he's going there, because they haven't spent $4 million, and we all know that dollars in Southern California come up short. So if he's not getting $4 million, then he took a huge pay cut in what he's going to have at the end of the month.
Hey, we're brought to you by Riley Farm Dental. They're at the entrance to Riley Farm, South Fort Smith. If you've got a crown that needs same-day repair or you need same-day crown service, they now do that at Riley Farm Dental. 3 great doctors to make every trip to the dentist office comfortable. Dr. Sparkman, Dr. Davis, Dr. Farmer. Make sure you have a very comfortable experience and a better smile when you leave. Again, same-day crown service now available at Riley Farm Dental. 479-226-3500 to make your appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
And when you think about your basketball program right now, you got to think about the kids on. Josh Cohen just committed, the UMass kid. You think about the kids that are currently still on campus, and Tremont Mark, Caleb Battle. I know those are the 2 notable names, but what's going to happen with them? Something that either Eric Musselman's going to have to deal with or the new coach too. David is in Washington, D.C. this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. David, what's going on, man? There goes David.
Thank you.
I appreciate you listening in Washington, D.C. Would have loved to hear your thought.
I think we have a delay. He's so far away. There's a delay.
Might be. But that is a question on the recruiting side of things that Dave posed this morning, because that is, again, for any prospective head coach, if it plays out, and Clay, I made the statement earlier, I could be entirely wrong, but I think Muss is going to wind up being the new USC head basketball coach.
Yeah. So I think that when you talk about recruiting and what's left, and the coach that you hire, he'll retain some of those. They may all go, but he'll retain some, because some of them are comfortable living in Fayetteville and they like their NIL deal. And you can always sweeten the pot a little bit, especially for returning players in my eyes. But you can put together a roster in pretty short order, and that's what he was going to do. He was going to replace 7, 8, 9, just like he's done the last couple of years. And I watched the way Chris Beard put a roster together in the last 12 months at Ole Miss, and he did a pretty nice job. Now they didn't get in the NCAA tournament, and they came short. But a coach that has craft and recruiting ability will put together a roster at Arkansas. Yeah. And I don't know who it's going to be, but it's a pretty nice. I've always said Bud Walton Arena, because it's 19,000 seats, is a pretty good insurance policy.
Yep.
And you will, you've already got a pool for coaches at $4 million that you don't have to break anything. You've got the structure to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That will attract a good coach.
That's top 15 money. And they probably can inch that up if needed to get the right name. because they need a name right now that'll energize this fan base to get involved with the NIL collective. That's one thing that they have not been able to turn the corner on. Hopefully a new hire maybe helps them turn the corner on this Edge fund that they can't seem to get the public excited about.
So they're going to get $1 million from Southern Cal or wherever he goes if he leaves. Let's just say if he leaves. I'm not saying that he's gone. So that's, that you take that and you use it to, for the buyout of the coach that you're going, or if it's a mid-major, you may not even need that. That goes straight back into the program. Doesn't go to NIL. That you can't take that money and put it in. It's kind of funny. I don't know how that works, but it seems like 90% of the ways that you can raise money cannot be in NIL. It just
they'll be Hunter Yurachek will be in a good position to attract top candidates just simply on finances.
He's a basketball guy. I mean, he's got a big love for basketball. But I do think, and when I talk to fans, they did not want him fired, but they weren't happy. They did not like the way this season went, and I'm not talking about wins and losses. I mean, it was dysfunctional, and everybody is like, well, if it's dysfunctional, why? Well, the guy that's got to control all that is the head coach. And it just never seemed like he had it under control. Yeah. And that bothered a lot of fans, a lot of technicals, a lot of, like I say, dysfunction. Yeah. And it just was a strange year in that you can beat Duke and Purdue and, you turn around and, just a few days later, you lose from, a team in North Carolina that nobody here had ever heard about. I mean, it's not that they couldn't play, but it's like you lost some games. It's like, that's a head scratcher. Yeah. And there's nobody, there's nobody that could explain any of that other than to say this team was dysfunctional, and it was.
We're brought to you by the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They're growing their firm each and every day, and they've added new offices the last few years. Brad and Kevin are now in Mena and Little Rock. They're also in Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith, as they've been for decades now. In fact, speaking of decades, they have over 7 decades of combined experience with their team to help you with whatever the matter is. Family law is one of their specialties, but it extends well beyond that to criminal matters. You've got a lawsuit it's pending between business to business, or maybe you've been hit in an accident by an 18-wheel truck and you need someone to guide you through that. They can do all of those types of representations for you in your situation. 479-434-2414. 479-434-2414, or go to KevinHickeyLaw.com. Things are about to get better. Again, KevinHickeyLaw.com.
More thoughts with Clay coming up next.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newts. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $1 billion. So, what would you do if you won?
Buy a baseball team.
Ooh, I would definitely buy my mom a Tesla so that she can drive cool, look cool.
If I won a jackpot, I'll start a cooking school for the youth in the city.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $1 billion. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kimco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports. Keeping the good times rolling.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
The American Patriot Promotions Gun Show is coming to the Sebastian County Fairgrounds in Greenwood, Saturday, May the 4th and Sunday, May the 10th. Tickets are just $10 per person, $8 for veterans, military, and active police force. Plus, children 16 and under get in free. On Saturday, the event goes from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Sunday from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. For more information, go to AmericanPatriotPromotions.com. May the 4th be with you.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I love how to do it. You just need a little bit more education. But I love it.
Wilmsmeyer fighting 2 in a row. Next pitch. Low outside. Wilmsmeyer takes a bases-loaded walk. And the Hawks are up 4-2.
Please rate and review the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Give us 5 stars to help us get our content out to the rest of the Razorback family. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Clay Henry's been a part of many coaching searches over the years at Arkansas. We don't know if we have one yet. We're just speculating based on a report from On3 that Muss is interviewing for the USC job today. We're going to discuss more of that at some point. When Clay is joining us, or Clay with us the next 30 minutes, we do have to discuss his recent column on hitthatline.com. Hopefully we'll find some time to do that in the next 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, his very first column. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey, if you're thinking about, we're talking about all this moving. you're going to put your family in the transfer portal in Northwest Arkansas, you might consider checking out the Cottages at the Park by Buffington Homes. If you want to be in the middle of everything, this is the place to be on the north side of Springdale, just steps away from the newly constructed Shaw Family Park. This is an ideal place to live because it's close to all the big employers like Tyson Foods, J.B. Hunt, the U of A, Walmart home offices. 15 minutes north or south, you can be a lot of different spots if you live at the Cottages at the Park. They have a variety of floor plans, both single-level and multi-level homes, perfect for any stage of life for you and your family. And again, steps away from that 120-acre Shaw Family Park that's got something for everyone, whether you want to take a stroll or you need to do some, some a little more intense workout. They've got something for everyone there. Prices start in the 400s. Get more details by going to BuffingtonHomesAR.com/Hog Radio. That's BuffingtonHomesAR.com/Hog Radio. At Buffington Homes and Cottages at the Park, they're helping you build a life you'll love.
So, Clay, I think Tommy made a point or two earlier that now as this discussion continues makes a little more sense. Hunter Yurachek was heavily criticized, and I'm not the only one that did, with the way that he went about putting out the interview, or not putting out the interview, but going on that One Recruit or First Recruit podcast, whatever the heck it was.
One Star.
Yeah, One Star podcast out of California. Do people's opinions change, you think, based on what's playing out with this report?
Oh, I think everybody's just kind of on high alert. And I think that every time there's a job opening, and there might be one, there might not be one, looks, when you do a public interview like that and you're the first interview, that there's a chance that he's gone. And so everybody's on high alert, and it's like, but it's pretty clear to see, looking back and listening to him, that there's issues. And so it's the public perception will be highly influenced by what happens in the next 3 weeks. Yeah. And by that, is Musselman gone? And then are you able to move fast? Some have suggested that he is ready to move fast. I don't know if that's true or not. And it's just what happens next is there's nothing that's in the air right now that's finite.
Yeah.
It's all just what's going to happen. That we're on high alert. You're going to lose a coach. Well, who is the next coach? So that his relationship with fans will be influenced by the what happens next. Yeah. Like I say, in the next 3 weeks. The unfortunate thing is you can't snap your fingers and be where it's there's a process, and you have to get your ducks in a row. And even if you're ready, it still can't happen. It's going to happen in probably 4 or 5 days at Southern Cal, and then you've got maybe a week to have a new coach in place, and then another week to see if he impacts the roster in a positive way. So in 3 weeks, we'll have people that have an understanding whether Hunter Yurachek has stepped up or he hasn't.
God, I would love to be a fly on the wall at the Broyles Athletic Center this morning, because if you think everybody there is wringing their hands worried Muss is leaving, I think you'd be dead wrong. I'm not saying you're thinking that, Clay, but I'm just speaking of the plural. I think it would be far more mixed than people might imagine out there listening this morning for the people that have supported, worked around the support of this basketball program the last 4 years. There's not going to be a lot of tears shed with some of those if he does, pull up the tent stakes and move west.
There's no one that I think wants him to be fired, but if he does it on his own, you're right. There'll be some that, and that's always the case, Tommy. I don't know very many coaches that say, the basketball coach that everybody are in the football office is liked, and the football coach, everybody in the basketball office is liked. And so if you're back in administration, and now, gosh, there's 100 people, maybe 150 that, that they work on basketball some, they work on football some. and they're influenced by the other side.
Well,
so it's
because he's someone you work with or for, and you have to deal. You don't look at him as a coach necessarily. So I just know talking to
I've talked to people that they felt like that the head coach in various sports slapped them around.
Yeah,
that they put pressure on him to get things done when there's a logical timeline for when things happen, and a head coach is always going to push that, right? I mean, I needed it. I asked for it yesterday. I really needed it 2 days ago. So you're on my time.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that doesn't go real well.
One thing we know Musk loves to do, that's get on the treadmill and take a run there or get outside. He said he did that when he's contemplating this Arkansas job. If you need to contemplate some things, maybe you go to the Hangout for a good workout today. Get on one of their mini treadmills or one of their bikes. They got a variety of those, or a step mill, and kind of sweat it out, figure it out. They've got an 8,000 square foot gym. They got indoor tennis, pickleball and tennis, both indoor and outdoor, basketball court, and a lot more that's available for you at the Hangout. Membership information available at thehangoutfs.com, or stop in and see them at 5400 Gary Street. Let's hang out.
We wrap up the show with the SEC update with Clay next.
Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Tommy Craft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the hogs, Chuck. Give me the hogs.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hole Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So Lane Kiffin's son Knox earned his first college football offer. School in Mississippi. He's an 8th grade kid. I would guess that with his background, his dad, that he's going to get many more. But I guess we've seen a few of these the last couple years, guys, and I guess we should just continue to expect kids getting offered. I know Lane Kiffin's son has a bigger name than a lot of other 8th graders, but this is just the world we live in nowadays, that 8th graders and 9th graders are getting college football offers.
Yeah, it doesn't seem good. I mean, it seems like that's a bad way for us to be headed down the road, and hopefully they're not getting NIL deals just yet.
I think it's a state by state thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Every state's going to have different regulations, rules, laws, whatever for.
I mean, they should take that money and pay the game officials. I mean,
absolutely. Here.
They earned it.
Yeah.
Other SEC news: Todd Blackledge, who is broadcast for ESPN, is the analyst on a lot of the big time games, talking about the rivalry between the SEC and the Big Ten. He doesn't really see it as a rivalry. And I know Michigan won the national championship last year, beat Alabama to get there. Ohio State beat Alabama 2014, won the first ever college football playoff. God, that is a question with the additions of Oregon, Washington, USC and UCLA for the Big Ten, and then with Texas and Oklahoma, kind of the SEC, the two power brokers or those conferences. Do you guys see that being a rivalry?
Well, I think that everything we do, we count. We keep track of, is what I'm saying. So I think that there is always an awareness in both leagues about, well, how many draft choices did we have? How many bowl games did we win? But they don't play each other enough for it to be a civil rival, a constant rival. You got, just like Texas, it's like it was hard to really consider them a rival. I did, but a lot of people didn't for the last, 25, 30 years since we came to the SEC, because it's going to be a unique experience when they play. It's going to be a bowl game or an odd situation. It is, the old timers still feel that way, but I guess my point is you got to play for it to be a rival. You can't just you don't spend your time hating somebody if you're not playing them now and then. So the only time you're playing is a bowl game or the playoffs.
I wish,
but we do count. We do keep track of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know how we do this? Well, we've done the SEC Big 12 Challenge in the past in basketball. Sure. Why can't everybody block off a week in the football schedule and one will play one, two will play based on order of finish from the previous year. The following year, one's going to play one, two plays two, seven plays seven. You go all the way out, and that becomes one of your non-conference games for both leagues. Now
they'll do that when ESPN decides
how much
that
worth.
They want to drop some money on that. How much can you bring?
Yeah.
And it's all about inventory with ESPN.
Yeah.
It's not about creating rivalry. If they can enhance their inventory, then that could happen. But it hasn't been something that they've needed it. Now, what I'm really interested to see, first of all, the Big Ten, they don't play as many non-conference games. Don't they play 10 conference games?
I get confused.
The Pac-10 did,
Yeah,
but it seems like they play one more than the SEC. There's not much opportunity for the Big Ten to play marquee non-conference games.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do that. Nobody wants to. I mean, the folks at Ohio State understand that if they go to Gainesville in September, they're going to get killed. I mean, just like Utah did. I mean, that is a sweltering heat that they're not ready for. So when can you play those non-conference games?
You play them
and
weeks.
The Big Ten teams they don't want to go south in September, especially Labor Day.
Tough. Do it weeks 0 and 1 and stagger them and make week 0, meaningful. They play these nothing games, and I still think we ought to have a double bye. But anyway, we're just spitballing here, but there should be a way to create an in-season rivalry between these two teams on the gridiron, much like we have on the hardwood.
The way I would see that happening is it be a one-off situation and they play them in a dome if it's going to be in the South. In other words, the Superdome or Atlanta. I mean, those are our two domes,
fine.
right? That's it, isn't it? Those are the only two we
they're
have.
building one in Nashville.
Oh, we got one in Arlington.
There will be one in Nashville at some point. That's fine.
But that's what you have to do to get a Big Ten team to come in the South. I mean, because they're going to get killed because they cannot handle 90% humidity. They just can't do it. They're not. Their training camp is not near that kind of situation.
And that is your SEC update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Burton Pools and Spas.
Hey, it's pool season, and if you've dreamed of having a backyard oasis of your own, stop in the Springdale location. They're in Springdale and in Fort Smith, but in Springdale, they have a massive outdoor pool showroom. If you've driven by there on I-49, you've noticed it already. They've got 10 different stunning in-ground pools for you to look at the design, the different types, whether it's a liner pool, whether it's a fiberglass pool, the different ways they go about constructing. There's new ones. The way I have mine done and the way my brother's is done, just on the behind the concrete, if you will, is 2 different setups, and they can show you all of the differences. They got 8 distinct fiberglass pool models that you can look at, and right now discounts up to $12,000. So visualize your own backyard oasis with Burton Pools and Spas. They don't just build swimming pools. Oh, no. They build long-term relationships. They've been doing it for more than 40 years. Stop in and see them, Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com.
All right, real quick before we close on football, final thoughts on today and the potential interview, the reported interview that Eric Musselman is having with USC before we jump to football.
I think he'll be the next head coach at USC before the end of the week.
I tend to agree.
That sure sounds like it's. I would agree with you, Tommy. That's what it sounds like.
I don't know if it'll be today, but I think by Friday, that's what we're talking about on these radio shows.
I think that's a good time.
It's unlikely. I just haven't seen it too much for a sitting SEC head coach to do an interview and he doesn't take the job.
I think one thing I haven't mentioned this morning is, again, this is the outside looking in vantage point, but it seems like Hunter Yurchek has kind of stood his ground on this. We initially criticized him for
a line in the sand.
The way he went about it, but I mean, Muss failed this season. He didn't want to give him a raise, and maybe
Yeah, that's why I say it comes back to accountability.
Yeah.
It's not that he didn't want to give him a raise. They couldn't agree to, an extension or whatever. And I don't think that this is so much about his contract that it is about, what's the salary cap.
This is about Muss not getting his way. They've met every demand. They've trained him this way. They've trained him by giving him a raise, giving him extensions, giving him planes, giving him whatever he's needed. And now,
well, he has earned a lot of that. I'll
he
give
has.
I'll give him credit.
But now things haven't went well. There's accountability. He's not getting his way, so we'll look for a greener pasture.
Yes. All right. Well, that's the final thoughts on what has taken up, I would say, 2 hours and 45 minutes of our programming, which is completely fine based on the
text. What everybody wants to hear.
Yeah. But as we close out with you, Clay, you did write your first column on hitthatline.com. I know this is surprising you. I read it, the entire thing.
I told him to read it twice.
I really, and you're going to like this, that as I wrote it, I was thinking about you.
That's why there's so many simple words in there.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me whatsoever.
So this is what I was told when I was in high school, and I asked my dad about writing style, and he says, just remember that there's a good portion of your readership that is not beyond the 6th grade comprehension. And he was talking about you.
Yeah.
And so I try to write it with clarity and simplicity and also try to entertain. Because I wanted you to go all the way to the end. I don't know if you did or not.
Yeah. So tell us about these offensive tackles, because that's what you focused on. Is
Petrino
I think
and
that's
what
lineman.
Everybody wanted to hear. I mean, here's what you do when you write. You give them what they want. And right now, I should be writing about Eric Musselman, because we talked about it for 245. But I think everybody wanted to know, first of all, what's Petrino's sideline demeanor? Tried to cover that. Tried to get close enough so I could see that. Where I position myself at practice, see and hear him. And then what are these offensive tackles like? Because that was, to me, the key. And then are our quarterbacks, are they going to overcome some of the bad faults that we saw in KJ? So are we going to take sacks? Or are we going to get the ball out? Are we going to and can they form a pocket against pressure? And we've got decent SEC defensive ends. Can they set the pocket so that Bobby Petrino's quarterbacks have time? And I think they can. But what I saw more than anything else is that in Bobby Petrino's offense, the quarterback is not holding on to the ball. It's coming out, and there is a plan. And they're not there yet on everything.
Yeah.
But there weren't a lot of situations where you say, well, that was a sack. The guy got by and he touched the quarterback and they continued the play. That happened a lot with KJ last spring, and they still completed the pass, but he would have been down. They touch him and then they get out of the way and let him finish the play.
Yeah.
They didn't turn loose guys. There weren't people in Taylor Green's face. And that's the first step in getting this offense going, is that they don't have lost yardage plays.
I know it was one
offensive tackles is a huge, huge deal.
Yeah. I know it's one practice, one scrimmage you watch, but paint the picture a little bit on the balance, run versus pass. What is it going to look like with Petrino at the helm?
They've got strong, solid running backs. I think they're good all the way across the offensive line. They're going to be a power running team that makes you play run with the safeties, and then all at once you get the matchups running free in the secondary that Bobby Petrino does better than anybody else. You got a safety that knows he's got to go tackle a 230-pound back, and he better get his shoulders square. And to do that, he loses sight of a guy that's, the tight end. And I want to tell you, Bobby loves Luke Haas. I mean, that's a great tight end. That's a DJ Williams type tight end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got plenty of Bobby Petrino stuff that I've clipped out, or Big C's clipped out, that we can play back tomorrow. But Clay, appreciate your time as always, brother. And
hey, I'm just kidding you about the 6th grade stuff.
Yeah, 7th grade.
You're at least 7th grade.
Yeah, come on, Orville.
All right, hitthatline.com. You'll see it on the menu bar. Clay Henry column right there, and there'll be more. There'll be more, probably something about once a week up there, and we'll be talking about it here on the show. We didn't get to today as much as we'd have liked. But Clay,
Tommy, I appreciate you.
We're glad to. I mean, all it took was one call, and it didn't take me long to say yes to that deal. So glad to have you expanding your role on our team. Been on the team a long time, but glad you're expanding your role with us.
And I do like Ty.
and it doesn't cost anything to read Clay's column. No paywall.
Free 99. The greatest
Clay
thing
demanded
ever.
that.
He said he wanted it to be 3. Still, if you want to
He
sponsor,
said, "I'm a
it,
man
though.
of the people."
Yeah, if you want to
we'll get a
sponsor,
sponsor, but we're not going to charge you to read it
Yeah.
out there.
All right, thanks everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. We'll see if news breaks through.
Hello there, homeowner. Roger Scott for Leaf Guard Gutters.